An unfortunate reality that we have in this current age is that there is hardly any new productions. We see this in media with constant live-action remakes of old tales. Technology, of course, everyone knows that the new iPhone is the same every year, but most importantly for this video, we see it in video games. Of course, I'm using Modern Warfare 2, the beta, as an example because I am so desperate for clicks and attention. Everybody knows Call of Duty is more or less the same year after year, and big changes happen every so often. Maybe about 4 years in between, or 4 Call of Duties if you will, because they release yearly. That is up until the release of Modern Warfare 2, which they are refraining from releasing another Call of Duty after, at least for 2 years. And they quite honestly could not have picked a worse title to do this with, because what we just learned from this beta is that Activision and Infinity Ward will sell you anything, even if it is a remade game with a different story using the older characters to gather the nostalgia of its older fan base. The only problem is, this older fan base is still ousted. And another problem is, the competitive fan base is also ousted? The fuck? At the premiere of the beta, the first thing that people were talking about was that there was no slide canceling, and everyone who was slow on their thumbs was like, yippee, I can actually compete with higher elo players. But what they didn't know was that, in series with changing a bunch of settings in the game, you could actually start slide canceling again. Crazy. It's almost as if they did not test this at all, and that's where we come in. Except we don't, because what was also discovered is that there are no red pings on the map when you shoot an unsilenced weapon. Some people may remember in Modern Warfare 2019 they attempted this, and the community struck it down. Only this time they aren't actually going to listen to the community, as much as it sounds like maybe they should and the beta testing community response would actually be heard, except they kinda just stood firm and doubled down on the idea that you shouldn't be punished for shooting an unsilenced weapon, and putting red pings back on the map would severely disadvantage some demographic of people who buy Call of Duty. They don't say, and I am so sure we'll never find out. I don't see myself as a super competitive Call of Duty player, but there are a lot of do's and don'ts, pros and cons to this situation. And I will point out that a lot of people actually don't notice that they put the pings on the compass so you can see where the gunshots are coming from. People would just have to divert their eyes from their top left corner to the top center of the screen. This allows people to have a more diverse set of attachments rather than silencers on every gun. And I know for a fact in the last 3 Call of Duties you were disadvantaged if you were firing an unsilenced weapon. But that was kind of the trade-off for having a more accurate weapon. Now with that aside, let's talk about all the other issues that Infinity Ward addressed, which is just dead silence. And here we see the same stance that they gave with the red dots. For those who don't know, and I'm sure you're a minority, dead silence was a perk that made your footsteps silent. Shocking. And I believe midway through this year or somewhere before, they removed it and made it a field upgrade. Something that can't be active all the time. You know, despite everyone asking and saying, hey, it would be better if it was still a perk. Well, fuck that, I guess. It's unfortunate to see a developer stand so tall against its criticism by the people who actually want to play it. It's so crazy. Spitting in the general direction of all players who actually want to improve the game. Even without mentioning the previous 2 things, it's unfortunate to see that there is no other response to any type of criticism or thoughts. Nothing about the time to kill, nothing about people making their own slide cancel, not even a peep of server-based matchmaking. But let's talk about the half-baked UI that everyone who could see had a problem with, and improving the chances that lobbies don't disband. 2 great improvements that will make the game so much better. And that brings us full circle to what I said in the beginning of this video: there is hardly any new content. Activision will sell you anything with the letter COD printed on the front. It's iconic that in open beta the top 2 most favorite positions were, change this please, and the response was, no, I think this is better, because we know. And that basically sums up what a giant IP like Call of Duty could do. Disregard a majority of the wants in the community and spit in their face once they buy your $70 copy. And with that being said, of course I will fall for the Call of Duty trap on October 28th, 2022. I mean, who wouldn't? In general, people are still gonna play these games, no matter how bad they feel about them, I guess. And you know, man, sometimes you're just one of those people. Thank you all so much for watching. Hit that subscribe button and get yourself a tasty watermelon. And as always, I'll see you in the next one.